fight like a roaring fight, during dreams under stadium lights, sweat and fire, hearts ignite. Even sparks will fade with the Ginch we play.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Early Evening Sports Cafe with Ginch. I'm Ginch. I'm at the host here on the Cold County Entertainment Network. It's cold. It's cold across the nation. Look, Miami's going to get in the cold. That's how bad this cold snap is. Thanks for the fellas there for the intro with the song. But yes, it is cold. The Carolinas are going to see another snowstorm. Good luck with that. Blizzard warnings possibly on the coast. But I see him in the green room. Mr. Noah Strang. I'll just read it off the Twitter machine here. At Noah Strang _ on the Twitter. Vancouver, New York-based journalist covering the hashtag CANUCKS and more at NYU _ journalism. Master's student. Pro Hockey Writers Association. He is a member. You can get in touch with him at nastrang25@gmail.com. Let me bring him on. There he is, Mr. Noah Strang. Noah, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me on, Ryan. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So the Vancouver Canucks. Look, I was trying to do research on them because I do follow hockey. And look, categorically, statistic-wise, it's not good. Look, they have 10 wins. I think they have 10 wins. Is it 10 wins, correct? They have 10 wins.
Yeah, I need to double check the exact number, but I mean, it's not pretty, like you said.
They've given up the third most goals. They've got the third worst penalty kill. Where are the bright spots, Noah?
There's not many to speak of right now. I mean, I think the one bright spot maybe as a Canucks fans, it finally seems like management's okay with sucking this year, and they're quite a few points back of 31st now, so at least it looks like they're going to get the best lottery odds, so maybe that's the one bright spot.
So where has it gone wrong so quickly? Look, I follow hockey. I'm not up on Vancouver. Is it youth? Is it just the fact that they're just going through a rebuild? What is it? Because I'm a Chicago Blackhawks fan. I mean, I know what it is to go through a rebuild. We're still going through it. So what's management's thinking here?
But, you know, I think it's important to understand that this wasn't supposed to be a rebuilding year. Like, coming into this season, management wanted to compete this year. You know, Quinn Hughes was still on the team, and they wanted to show him that they could ice a competitive product and hopefully entice him to sign a deal when he was eligible to sign an extension in Vancouver. And they really had hopes this year that they would be a playoff team. And I mean, if you look back at a lot of the predictions, a lot of people had the Canucks in kind of like a wild card spot there. You know, their division. Some of those teams have overperformed this year, but it wasn't seen as being very strong. A lot of teams in there that are kind of rebuilding. And I think heading into this season, you would have said on paper, like the goaltending looks pretty good. The defense looks pretty good. And the forwards, you know, not amazing, but they had some pieces there, some veteran guys that had scored in the past. And you're hoping, you know, that Elias Pettersson could bounce back to that form. But unfortunately, you know, they needed a lot of things to go their way to be competitive, and almost every single one of those things has gone the other way. From day one of this season, they had to deal with a lot of injuries, and not only injuries, but injuries at positions they were already weak at. Most notably, you know, down the middle of the ice, they were weak coming into the year at center. That was obvious. Everyone could see it. And Philip Hedl was really expected to carry a line a little bit as a second line center, and he's had countless head and neck injuries. I know he spoke the other day after returning from the latest concussion. Like, he doesn't like the media speculating on how many concussions he's had, but well, the exact number doesn't really matter. I mean, we're talking about a player now that has shown like a repeated pattern of head injuries. And when he went down early in the year after being on the wrong side of a big hit, it really exposed his team down the middle, and kind of like everything just started unraveling from there.
So, look, the season's going to be a wash anyway. We got the Olympics coming up. What do you think they're going to do by the trade deadline, which I believe is March 6th, is what I'm seeing here?
Yeah, they need to sell off assets. I mean, it's already started a little bit, and like the rumor mill is going right. Evander Kane seems to be the next one to go. There's been a couple reports linking different teams. I think Dallas was mentioned at one point. I think Colorado was mentioned. Like some of those playoff teams that could use a veteran guy that's played in the playoffs that is a bigger body, has a track record of showing up in the playoffs. I think he could be interesting. But I mean, he's not going to fetch a huge return. They already
Right.
got rid of perhaps their biggest trade chip in Kiefer Sherwood. Brought back a couple draft picks. Then I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to look at some of their better players and say, are we ready to trade these guys? And while it may hurt a little bit more than getting rid of like a pending unrestricted free agent like Sherwood was or like Kane is, those are the moves you have to make in a rebuild. And I'm thinking about guys like Connor Garland, whose name has been in the rumor mill a bit over the last little bit. He's got an extension that kicks in next summer, but like where the Canucks are right now, Garland's not going to be. He doesn't fit the timeline, but he can still be a good player on a team in like a middle six role as a winger. I still think he's a very good player, even if the season hasn't really gone all that great for him personally. I mean, he had a really great start to the season, but the Canucks environment right now is not one that any player really looks good in. I don't think there's like very many players on the Canucks that have done well this season. So the next thing that they're going to have to do before the trade deadline is look at some of these guys like Garland, DeBrusk, maybe even Pedersen. Like, are these guys going to be on the way out before the deadline?
So with all that being said, what are you looking at for the rest of the year? Because obviously they're not going to make the playoffs. Like we said, the season's a wash. But what are you looking at from the players going forward? Look, we're coming up on the Olympic break. It's for a chance for the teams to take a breather, those that aren't participating in the Olympics. But when they come off the Olympic break and they head back to the season, obviously we have the deadline. What are you looking for from the players and the coaching staff going forward until the end of the season?
Well, there's a couple things. I think the first one is pretty obvious when you're in this situation. Like, you're hoping to see the young players, play well, put together some good performances, even if it doesn't lead to wins. Like, hopefully the defensemen like Tom Wielander, Elias Pettersson on the back end, the young defenseman, even some of the forwards like Atu Ratu, some of these guys, Jonathan Lekaramaki, can hopefully put in good performances and like prove that they're going to be players in the future and like give fans something to get excited about. I think also something that's going to be interesting to follow is Adam Foote as head coach. The season's gone completely off the rails. It's not totally his fault, but he's also not blameless in my opinion. Like, lands somewhere in the middle. But is he going to be the coach again next season after how the year has gone? And I think, the Canucks have lost like 12 of their last 13 games or something like that. I'm not sure it's exactly correct, but the way that they're losing some of these recent games, I mean, some of them, they kind of like have a bit of that ethical tank to them where it's exciting and they show some fight. But some of them, I mean, they just get rolled over completely. And the lack of defensive structure, which is something that Foote was supposed to bring as the head coach, is very evident. And so I think over the latter part of the season after the break, it will be interesting to see if the Canucks can play with a little bit more structure, if Foote can manage to show off his coaching ability a bit more and kind of prove that he deserves another chance in a season that maybe hasn't gone so like disastrously, and can get the players to like compete and play a harder game than they are some of the times right now.
All right, Noah, before I let you go here, we got to talk about the Olympics a little bit. Ice hockey Olympics. Look, it's going to be Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland, and then just, you can throw a whole potpourri of other teams in there. But what are we looking for in the Olympics as far as hockey go? Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland. Are the medal winners going to come from that particular group?
I would think so, but I'll throw in Czechia as an underdog.
Okay.
I think Czechia's got a real chance to finish with a medal. They've got some great players. I think Pasternak is unbelievable. They've got Canuck and Philip Hronik on the back end. They've got I believe Dostal is the goalie there. I could be mistaken, but I think he is. And I really think that they have the chance to make something happen. I mean, they won the World Championships 2 years ago, was it? I think the Americans got it last year. Then Czechia won 2 years ago. And Finland and Sweden both have a couple of injuries to like key players that. I mean, I always think of Finland and Sweden, they're great hockey countries, but when you look at their complete roster, they're often a little bit thinner than like the Americans and Canadians, which is what separates it a little bit. And And with some of those injuries to the top end guys, like I know Barkov obviously is out for Finland, and Sweden's lost Leo Carlsson recently, who had such a great start to the season. I mean, those rosters are starting to look a little. I mean, they're still unbelievable, obviously, and those countries always do well, but a little bit more thin at certain positions. And I think Czechia, has got a chance to go for bronze, or even better if they can pull off an upset. But I think everyone's hoping to see a Canada USA final. I mean, I sure am. I mean, the Four Nations last year was unbelievable. I think it got everyone super excited to see something similar here at the Olympics on an even bigger stage with even more at stake. And I'm sure that the players are absolutely dying and ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Noah Strang. Oh, who's going to be your Stanley Cup winner? I'm just saying it now. I know it's only January. I'm going to have to bring it back on before the playoffs start. But if the playoffs started today, Noah,
yeah,
Eastern Conference, Western Conference, who would be your two teams in the finals right now?
Oh, I mean, it's difficult. There's a lot of great teams this year, which is why the NHL is so exciting. I mean, in the West, it's hard to go against Colorado. They look so dominant right now. But, I think I'll switch it up. I'll pick something different. It can be hard to sustain like such a high level from the start of the season all the way to the end. And so I'll pick out of the West Minnesota. I think obviously Quinn Hughes is there right now, and I think that they're not done. I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard Wallsted's name in some trade rumors. And I think if they can trade him for a top 6 center, that roster starts to look really, really good. They still need another forward or two, preferably a center. But I think Minnesota has a really good chance. I mean, the issue there, too, is how strong the Central Division is. I mean, they're probably going to have to play Dallas in the first round, Colorado in the second round, and then Vegas or Edmonton in the third round just to make it to the finals. It's an incredibly difficult path. So, I mean, it'll be difficult, but I like their team. I like the way they've set up. I think they've got some really good players. And in the Eastern Conference, a lot of people have Tampa. Tampa is really, really good. I'll stick with Tampa. I admire Vasilevsky a ton. I think he's probably one of the best big game goalies in the world. I think he's really good back there, and they're getting some contributions from defensemen that I wasn't as familiar with their game at the start of the season. Like JJ Moser has been playing great. Radish has been playing great. So I'm excited to see what Tampa can do. I mean, their forwards, of course, so deep. Kucherov, and Kucherov and Vasilevsky won't be playing at the Olympics, right? Because Russia's not playing. So that break for them could be very beneficial.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Noah Strang. When the Olympics are over and we're getting closer to the playoffs, my man, I will have to hit you up again, and we can make our picks.
Sounds great. Anytime. Thank you for having me on, Ryan.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Mr. Noah Strang, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. At Nixon underscore is at underscore him, L Aura. I don't know what that means. Let's see. At Kimberly, I hope I'm saying it right, Paskowski, I8604. She says she agrees. I'm not sure what she's agreeing on. Maybe Noah's analysis there. I think she's excited for the Olympics for hockey. She also said Tampa's not going to win crap. At Barco underscore 11 says that the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. And then at Barco 11 says, no way, the Tampa Bay Lightning are not good. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Questions, comments, criticisms, all welcome. I will throw your comments up there if I can, if I deem it worthy. But again, early evening sports buffet with the Ginch. I am said Ginch here on the Cole County Entertainment Network. Some news and notes from around the world in sports as we go around the world. The Eagles have hired Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion as their new offensive coordinator. He was probably their 15th choice, by the way. I know my man Mike Fuji texted me earlier and says he doesn't know how he feels about that. He's coached for just 2 years. He's 33 years old. We'll see how that plays out. I'm sure Eagles fans are not too keen on the hire. I thought that they would probably bring in somebody of a higher stature, but they have not. Joe Brady, after he was hired as the Buffalo Bills coach, he said on the Pat McAfee show that he supports Keon Coleman, even after the owner's comments, because the owner's a buffoon. He said, quote unquote, I told Keon when I got hired the best thing that happened to Keon Coleman was me being his head coach. I was one of the ones that stood on the table for Keon Coleman, and I believe in Keon Coleman. I don't believe in Keon Coleman. He has been a bust since he's come into the league. I think this is his second year or third year. Look, hopefully Joe Brady can turn that around, but we'll see. The Patriots coach Mike Vrabel has said that he is not worried about quarterback Drake May's shoulder. I guess Drake is dealing with a shoulder issue, but he says he's not worried. Buffalo Bills Josh Allen, he had surgery on his foot, but he said he is expecting to be ready by OTAs. I did not know he was battling a foot injury. Super Bowl hype already. Excuse me. The AGA, American Gambling Association, I think that's what the AGA is, and the Sports Betting SBA. Approximately $1.76 billion is expected to be bet on Super Bowl 60 with U.S. sports books. That's a 27% year-over-year increase. Sorry, the American Gambling Association. Yeah, well, that's what I thought it was. So bet at your own discretion. The Denver Nuggets are going to reevaluate Aaron Gordon's hamstring in 4 to 6 weeks as he is battling that particular injury. So that's the major news. And notes from around the world of sports today. I'm looking for other NFL news. I've basically gone over all those from yesterday. Let's go to the NBA, shall we? Scores from yesterday. The Hawks beat my Celtics 117 to 106. Leading scorer for the Hawks. It was Mr. Alexander Walker with 21 points. Mr. Johnson added 19 points and 14 rebounds for the Celtics. The leading scorer was Jaylen Brown with 21 points. The Spurs beat the Rockets. Spurs are definitely a team to be reckoned with. They win 111-99 for the Spurs. Your leading scorer was, of course, Mr. Wembanyama. 28 points, 16 boards. Leading scorer of the Rockets was Mr. Kevin Durant, 24. It was Mr. Thompson. Amen Thompson with 25 points. Mr. Sengun, I call him, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Cavaliers beat up on the Lakers 129-99. Luka Doncic, leading scorer with 29 points for the Cavs. Your leading scorer was Mr. Mitchell, 25 points. Pacers beat the Bulls 113-110. Leading scorer for the Bulls was Mr. Vucevic, 25 points. Leading scorer for Indiana was Pascal Siakam, 20 points. Magic beat the Heat 133-124. Leading scorer for the Magic, Mr. Pablo Banchero. He added 31 points and 12 boards. For the Heat, your leading scorer was Mr. Fontecchio off the bench with 23 points. Bam Adebayo, a double-double, 21 points, 12 boards. The Canucks beat the Raptors 119-92. For the Knicks, your leading scorer was Mr. Bridges, 30 points. Karl Anthony Towns, have yourself a day with 22 rebounds. For the Raptors, leading scorer was Mr. Ingram with 27 points. Mr. Barnes added 17 points, 10 boards. Hornets beat the Grizz 112-97. Leading scorer for the Hornets, Mr. Miller with 26 points. Diabate with 18 points and 19 boards. Leading scorer for the Grizz, Jaren Jackson Jr., 26 points. Timberwolves beat the Mavericks, 118-105. Leading scorer for the Timberwolves was John Randall with Mr. Randall, I call him, 31 points. For the Mavs, your leading scorer was PJ Washington with 21 points. And the Warriors beat the Jazz in a barn burner, 140-124. Leading scorer for the Warriors, Stephen Curry with 27 points. For the Jazz, leading scorer was Mr. Sensabaugh off the bench with 22 points. On the slate tonight, the Bucks at the Wizards, the Kings at the 76ers, the Rockets at the Hawks, Heat at the Bulls, the Hornets at the Mavs, the Nets at the Nuggets, the Pistons at the Suns, and the Thunder at the Timberwolves. NHL action from last night, the Islanders beat the Rangers 5-2. Blue Jackets beat the Flyers 5-3, and the Sens beat the Avalanche 5-2. Heavy slate in the NHL tonight. The Flyers are at the Bruins. The Blackhawks are at the Penguins. Panthers are at the Blues. The Flames are at the Wild. The Maple Leafs are at the Kraken. The Canadiens, the Jets at the Lightning, the Predators at the Devils, the Islanders are at the Rangers, Mammoth at the Hurricanes, Capitals at the Red Wings, Sharks at the Oilers, Ducks at the Canucks, and the Stars are at the Golden Knights. NCAA men's basketball action from last night, top 25. Number 25, St. John's beat Butler 92-90. Number 19, Florida all over South Carolina 95-48. Number 10, was at number 8, Iowa State. And Washington is at number 9, Illinois. NCAA women's basketball top 25 action from yesterday. Number 2, UCLA over Illinois 80-67. Number 25, Washington with a slight upset over 16, Maryland 83-80. Iowa State handled number 21, Texas Tech 84-70. And number 1, UConn destroyed Xavier 97-39. A lot of top 25 girls teams in action, or women's teams in action today. Right now, end of the first, number 12, TCU up on Kansas 30-17. Number 13, Michigan State all over Purdue in the first right now, 29-15. Later on, Mississippi State at number 15, Tennessee. Good one in the SEC, number 24, Alabama, and number 23, Georgia. Number 4, Texas is at Florida. Number 9, Michigan at Indiana. Texas A&M at number 10, Oklahoma. Number 6, LSU will host Arkansas. Number 7, Louisville is at Stanford. Number 11, Ohio State hosts Wisconsin. Number 20, Duke at Miami. Number 3, South Carolina at Auburn. Number 8, Iowa at USC. Men's golf out there at Torrey Pines in La Jolla, California. Ladies and gentlemen, first round, almost at its conclusion. Justin Rose at the top. He is 10 under through 17. It's a hell of a round. Then you have lower at 9 under, Greiserman at 8 under, McNeely and Jaeger at 7 under. Excuse me. Korn Ferry Tour, they're down there in Panama. Completed rounds. Mr. Holt, Mr. McDonald, each at 5 under par. Women's golf. I think I went over this yesterday. They're down there in Orlando. Miss Hataya. See, I'm going to butcher the name. Hatauka. Hateauka. Something like that. She's Japanese, I think. She is 6 under par. She leads in the clubhouse after the first round. Men's tennis. One singles match today. The number 1 seed, Mr. Alcaraz, and the number 3 seed, Mr. Zverev. They'll be going at it tonight. In doubles, Hideki and Piers will face off against Mladenovic and Guinard. Women's tennis. There were 2 matches today. Number 1 overall seed Sabalenka beat Svitolina in straight set 6-2, 6-3. And unfortunately, the 6 seed American Miss Pegula dropped to the 5 seed Rabakina straight sets 6-3, 6-7. English Premier League this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make my picks here. It'll kick off Saturday. Leeds will be hosting Arsenal. I've got Arsenal winning this 2-1 after that piss-poor performance last week. Brighton will be hosting Everton. I've got that as a 1-1 draw. Wolves hosting Bournemouth. I've got Bournemouth winning 2-1. Chelsea will be hosting West Ham. I've got Chelsea winning 3-1. And Liverpool will be hosting Newcastle. I've got that game being a 1-1 draw. And on Sunday, Aston Villa hosts Brentford. I've got Aston Villa winning 2-1. Man United is hosting Fulham. I've got this as a 1-1 draw. Nottingham Forest hosting Crystal Palace. I've got Nottingham Forest winning 2-1. Spurs hosting Man City. I've got Man City winning 2-1. And on Monday, Sunderland will host Burnley. I'm going 0-0 draw. So how's that? The NASCAR series will kick off with their bullshit clash at the Bowman Bowl. NASCAR needs to stop this shit. I can't stand it. Have the Busch Clash back at Daytona, please, to kick off Speed Weeks. You can do a 50-lap Busch Clash in Daytona to kick off Speed Weeks. Daytona 500 is not for another 2 weeks anyway. Stop having it on February 1st. No one gives a shit. Nobody cares. What they should do is wait till next Saturday. Have it on the 7th or whatever it is. And just go back to the old way. But, NASCAR will never do it because that's just what NASCAR does now. So I think that's going to end it for today. I want to thanks to everybody that tunes in. Whoever checks out the replay. Noah Strang, thanks for him for coming on for talking Vancouver Canucks hockey. Always great to get new guests on. And again, thanks to everybody that tunes in. It's cold, man. It is cold. I'm so ready for wintertime to be over. I think we're in the 5th week or 6th week, and we got, 8 weeks left. I'm not a big springtime fan here in the Northeast either, because you get all the stuff in the air and the pollen and the spores and X, Y, and Z, and then massive amounts of snot, and you're fighting allergies and shit like that. I like my favorite months, September and October, and part of November for weather. And I also like a little bit of May, a little bit of June, maybe a little the second half of April. Those are my favorite months. But again, That does it for me for the week. No football on this weekend. So you'll have to revert to watching the NHL, the NBA. The Olympics are coming up soon. So, as I end each show, practice compassion, practice empathy. Have passion for what you do. Hug somebody every once in a while. You might make their day. Tell somebody you love them. You may not get a second opportunity. And for the love of Christ, if you see somebody struggling in any sort of manner, ask questions, inquire how you can get them help, how you can help, what do they need. Because you might not just be saving a life, you might be saving a multitude of lives. Again, stay warm out there. Deep freeze all across the country, basically. Check on your elderly, make sure they're fine. Bring your pets in. So be it. So, with all that being said, there is only one thing left to do, and that's for Mr. Dandy Don Meredith to take me out for the weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.